3rd century, in the Egyptian desert, a man named Origen of Alexandria did something that shook the ancient world. He was one of the most brilliant minds of early Christianity, a scholar who had read more, understood more, and seen deeper into the nature of reality than almost anyone alive. And yet, at the height of his intellectual power, something broke inside him. He did not lose his mind, he did not abandon his studies. What happened was quieter and far more disturbing. The more he understood, the more disconnected he became from the world around him. His knowledge grew vast, but his ability to live inside that knowledge collapsed. He became rigid, isolated, consumed by truths that no one around him could see or understand. And that distance, that unbridgeable gap between what he knew and what he could bear, slowly turned his wisdom into a kind of prison. Origen is not a footnote, he is a warning. Because what happened to him is happening right now, to thousands of people who have walked the same road, people who went looking for truth, for hidden knowledge, for the deeper architecture behind the world they were living in. And they found it. They found more than they expected. And instead of feeling free, they felt something else entirely. They felt alone, bitter, disconnected, paralyzed by a vision of reality that they could not unsee and could not carry. No one talks about this phase of the journey. The spiritual community speaks endlessly about awakening, as if it were a light switch. You see the truth, and everything becomes clearer, lighter, somehow easier. But there is another side to that experience, a side that the ancient traditions understood intimately, but that modern seekers almost never hear about. There is a cost to seeing too much, too soon. Not because truth is dangerous, but because the human soul was never designed to receive truth faster than it can absorb it. And when that happens, when vision outpaces strength, when consciousness expands beyond the container that holds it, the result is not illumination. It is fracture. This video is about that fracture, about the hidden price of esoteric knowledge, about the phase of awakening that feels like poison before it becomes medicine, and about the ancient blueprint buried in traditions across every civilization that shows you how to survive what you have already seen. If you are in the gap right now, between seeing and being, between knowing and living, between waking up and falling apart, then this was made for you. Because every mystic, every philosopher, every initiated seeker, whoever walked this path left behind the same warning. And it is the one warning that almost no one remembers. And the 3rd century always begins the same way, with curiosity. A question you cannot answer. A feeling that something about the world does not quite add up. Maybe it starts with a book, a lecture, a conversation that cracks something open inside you. Maybe it starts with a crisis, a loss, a moment when the life you were living suddenly stops making sense. Whatever the door is, once you walk through it, you do not walk back. The Hermetic traditions called this the first encounter with the veil, the moment when the seeker catches a glimpse of the architecture behind visible reality. hidden patterns, symbolic structures, layers of meaning buried beneath the surface of everyday life. And that first glimpse is intoxicating. In the 16th century, the physician and alchemist Paracelsus described this stage with remarkable honesty. He spoke of a fire that seizes the student of hidden things, a hunger that does not sleep. You read one text and it leads to another, one idea connects to three more. Suddenly, patterns appear where there was only randomness, synchronicities multiply. The world begins to reveal a hidden coherence that no one around you seems to notice. And here is where the danger lives, though you will not see it yet. Because alongside that fire, alongside the thrill of discovery, something else begins to grow. A distance, a separation between you and the people in your life. You start to notice things about them that you did not notice before. The way their beliefs were inherited, not chosen. The way their conversations repeat scripts they never examined. The way their entire lives seem to operate on patterns that they cannot see. At first, this feels like clarity. You believe you are seeing people for who they really are, perhaps for the first time. But Paracelsus knew better. He warned that the student who devours knowledge without digesting it does not become wise. He becomes inflamed. The fire that was meant to illuminate begins to consume. This is exactly what the Sufi masters described centuries earlier. In the Islamic mystical tradition, the seeker who advances too quickly along the path is said to be in a state called qad, a contraction of the soul. The external mind expands, the inner being contracts. You know more, but you feel less. You see further, but you connect to nothing. The great Sufi teacher Ibn Arabi wrote that the most dangerous moment on the path is not when you encounter darkness. It is when you mistake your own isolation for elevation, when you begin to believe that your distance from others is proof of your advancement, rather than evidence of your fracture. This is the trap that almost every seeker falls into. And the reason is simple: knowledge, in its raw form, does not come with a warning label. It does not announce whether you are ready for it. It simply arrives, and the responsibility of carrying it falls entirely on you. The ancient mystery schools understood this. That is why they insisted on initiation, on stages, on years of preparation, before a student was allowed to encounter certain truths. They were not hoarding knowledge. They were protecting the seeker from the very thing that modern seekers walk directly into. The encounter with a truth that is larger than the vessel that receives it. And when that happens, when the vessel cracks, the knowledge does not spill outward. It turns inward. It becomes something else entirely. It becomes poison.
Throughout history, the traditions that dealt with hidden knowledge identified the same three forms of collapse in seekers who advanced too quickly. They used different languages, different metaphors, different frameworks. But the pattern is always the same. The first poison is inflation. Friedrich Nietzsche captured this state more precisely than perhaps anyone else he wrote. Whoever fights monsters should see to it that in the process he does not become a monster.
And if you gaze long enough into an abyss, the abyss also gazes into you. Most people interpret this as a warning against thinking too deeply. That is not what he meant. What Nietzsche understood was that when you look into the shadow of the world without sufficient inner light, the shadow reshapes you in its own image. You begin to believe that because others are unconscious, you must be above them. That because you can see the pattern, you are exempt from it. That your awareness makes you superior, rather than simply more responsible. This is spiritual inflation. The moment when truth becomes elitism, when knowledge becomes contempt, when awakening becomes nothing more than emotional superiority dressed in philosophical language. The Hermetic principle of polarity explains why this happens. Every light carries a seed of darkness. Every darkness carries a seed of light. When your inner light is not strong enough to hold what you are seeing, the polarity reverses. Instead of you transforming the shadow transforms you. You begin to love truth, the idea of truth, more than you love people. And that is the first death of the seeker. The second poison is nihilism. Once you see through the structures of society, through the institutions and inherited beliefs and fabricated meanings that hold civilization together, there is a terrible moment when you genuinely ask, if all of it is constructed, what is the point of participating in any of it? This is the deeper meaning of Nietzsche's abyss, not the world outside you, the collapse of meaning inside your own psyche. Every framework dissolves, every anchor disappears. You are left floating in a void with nothing to hold on to. The Gnostic traditions of the 2nd century fell into this exact trap. Certain Gnostic sects concluded that because the material world was a prison of illusion, the correct response was to reject it entirely, to demonize the physical, to withdraw from life itself. They believed they had transcended the masses in reality. They had simply stopped living. If your inner foundation is not strong enough to hold the absence of inherited meaning, you do not float in that void. You drown. You think you have reached some higher state where nothing matters. But what has actually happened is that you have lost the ability to care. And that is not awakening. It is nihilism wearing the mask of spiritual growth. The third poison is dissociation. This is the opposite direction, but it leads to the same place. Instead of hating the world, you escape it. You disappear into concepts, into cosmology, into non-duality, into mystical frameworks that pull you out of lived reality rather than deeper into it. You convince yourself that you are becoming beyond the world, but you are simply retreating from your own life. The medieval contemplatives knew this danger well. The Christian mystic Meister Eckhart warned against what he called spiritual gluttony, the habit of consuming mystical experience after mystical experience without ever returning to the ground of ordinary life. The seeker becomes a spectator. He watches life from above, convinced that his detachment is wisdom, when in truth, it is fear.
So far, we have seen how knowledge becomes toxic when it arrives before the seeker is ready. But there is a deeper architecture beneath all three poisons that the ancient traditions understood with remarkable clarity. Every mystical lineage, across every civilization, describes the same moment. A gap opens between what you can see and what you can live. Your consciousness evolves, but your being remains the same. And in that gap,
things fall apart. This is the space between two awakenings, and understanding this distinction changes everything. The first awakening is the awakening of sight. This is where your perception opens. You see the illusion, the programming, the corruption, the unconsciousness, the hidden architecture behind consensus reality. The veil lifts, and for the first time, you see the world as it actually is rather than as you were told it was. The second awakening is the awakening of strength. This is where your inner world finally grows strong enough to carry what you have seen. Where your character, your emotional maturity, your capacity for compassion, your ability to hold paradox and ambiguity, all catch up to the vision that arrived first. Every collapse, every dark night of the soul, every phase where awakening feels like destruction rather than liberation, happens in the space between these two awakenings. When the mind is awake, but the heart has not yet been built. When consciousness is high, but capacity is low. It is the spiritual equivalent of being handed a sword before your arms are strong enough to lift it. The sword is real. The danger it reveals is real. But without the strength to wield it, the sword does not protect you. It cuts you. And here is where the oldest story humanity ever told reveals its true meaning. Because the story of Adam and Eve, the story of the tree of knowledge, was never about disobedience. It was about preparation. Consider what actually happened in the myth. Two beings, innocent and unformed, encounter knowledge before they have built the internal capacity to hold it. The moment they eat from the tree, two things happen simultaneously. Their consciousness explodes outward, and their inner foundation remains exactly the same. That mismatch, that gap between expanded vision and unchanged being, is the exile. Not an exile from a physical location, an exile from themselves. The exile is the psychological state in which innocence collapses. But wisdom has not yet formed meaning, has not stabilized, even though perception is fully awake. Does that sound familiar? This is precisely what happens when you awaken too quickly. You see the world stripped bare before you have built the strength to stand in that nakedness. But the myth is not warning you against knowledge. It is warning you about digestive capacity, about how much truth your psyche can metabolize at once. If you ingest truth faster than you can integrate it, it becomes poison. Not because the truth is harmful, but because your inner world is unprepared. Rudolf Steiner understood this from a completely different direction. He wrote that higher knowledge does not make you better. It makes you more of what you already are. If you approach the deepest truths without shadow work, without discipline, without humility and emotional development, your shadow intensifies, your wounds enlarge, your instability amplifies, your disconnection deepens. In other words, the problem is never that the truth is too dark. The problem is that it arrives before the soul has learned how to carry both light and shadow at the same time. Manly Palmer Hall said it more directly than anyone. You can fill your mind with every secret the ancients ever recorded, and still remain exactly who you were yesterday. Because information alone does not transform you. Formation does. And the distance between information and formation, between knowing and becoming, is where the real danger lives.
We have explored, so far describes the fracture. This is the part that describes the mending. Because the ancient traditions did not simply warn about the dangers of premature knowledge. They left behind a blueprint for surviving it. And that blueprint has 3 stages. The first stage is the encounter with the shadow. Carl Jung spent his life studying this process. And what he discovered reshaped our understanding of the human psyche. Jung did not say escape the unconscious. He said make the unconscious conscious, integrated. Hold it. Become a vessel through which it can be seen and transformed. This is the part that most seekers skip. And it is the part that determines whether knowledge becomes wisdom or remains poison. The shadow is not the darkness outside you. It is the unexamined darkness inside you. It is the wound that attracted you to certain truths in the first place. The fear that interpreted every piece of information you encountered. The unresolved pain that colored everything you saw and convinced you it was clarity. When the seeker begins to ask the real questions, not what is wrong with the world, but what is unhealed inside me, the entire landscape shifts. Why was I drawn to these particular truths? What part of me benefited from staying separate? What wound made contempt feel like intelligence? What fear made isolation feel like transcendence? These questions do not come easily. They require a courage that is entirely different from intellectual bravery. It is easy to study the hidden architecture of reality. It is far more difficult to turn that same vision inward and study the hidden architecture of your own soul. But this is what the Delphic oracle meant when it inscribed those 2 words above the entrance to the temple. Know thyself, not know the cosmos. Not know the secrets of the universe. Know thyself. Because until you do, every truth you encounter will be distorted by the wounds you have not faced. The second stage is incarnation. And this is perhaps the most misunderstood concept in all of spiritual development. Incarnation does not mean returning to ignorance. It does not mean pretending you have not seen what you have seen. It means returning to your body, to your relationships, to the ground of ordinary life, fully awake. It means choosing to be here, in the world, present and engaged, rather than floating above it in the safety of concepts and abstractions. The great Zen masters called this returning to the marketplace. After the seeker has climbed the mountain, after he has seen the view from the summit, the final stage is not staying on the mountain. It is coming back down into the noise and mess and beauty of human life, carrying what he has seen, but no longer using it as a shield against living. This is where something remarkable happens. The people you once dismissed as unconscious begin to appear differently. Not as programs running inherited scripts, but as living beings carrying wounds you have not begun to understand. Carrying stories shaped by battles you will never see. And when that recognition truly arrives, something in you softens, not because you have abandoned your awareness, but because your awareness
has finally matured enough to include compassion. The third stage is alchemy, and this is where the entire journey comes together. If the shadow work revealed what was broken, an incarnation brought you back to the world, alchemy is the act of building something new from the wreckage. The ancients did not use the word alchemy as a metaphor. It was literal soul work, the transformation of lead, the raw material of your collapsed world into gold, a being that you consciously choose to become. Here's the question that alchemy asks. Now that the old meaning has dissolved, now that everything you once believed has been dismantled, what will you build in its place? What will you serve? What will you honor? What values will you choose to live by? Not because the world told you to, but because you have decided, consciously and deliberately, that they are worth your devotion. This is the moment that separates the seeker, who breaks from the seeker who transforms, because meaning does not float down from heaven. It is forged through devotion, through choice, through the deliberate act of deciding what matters, when nothing is guaranteed to matter. And here is the paradox that resolves everything. If nothing is guaranteed to matter, then everything you consciously choose matters by default. That is the alchemy the ancient traditions were pointing toward. The same knowledge that shattered you when you were not ready becomes the gold you stand on when you do the inner work. And that blueprint has 3 stages.
There is a reason that every mystery school in the ancient world placed gates between the seeker and the truth. And that reason was not secrecy. It was not elitism. It was not a desire to hoard power or control who had access to forbidden knowledge. It was mercy. The Egyptian mystery schools at Heliopolis required years of preparation before a candidate could enter the inner sanctum. The curriculum was not primarily intellectual. It was moral, emotional, physical, and spiritual. The candidate had to demonstrate not only understanding, but capacity. Not only knowledge, but character. Not only vision, but strength. The Eleusinian mysteries in Greece followed a similar structure. Initiates spent years in preliminary stages, what the Greeks called the lesser mysteries, before they were considered ready for the greater mysteries. And the content of those greater revelations was so carefully guarded that initiates were forbidden under penalty of death from revealing what they had seen. For centuries, scholars assumed this secrecy was about power, about keeping knowledge in the hands of a privileged few. But the deeper reading, the one that emerges when you study the initiation process itself, reveals something entirely different. The secrecy was not about protecting the knowledge from the seeker. It was about protecting the seeker from the knowledge. Because the priests and hierophants who designed these systems understood something that modern culture has almost completely forgotten: consciousness without container destabilizes the soul. Truth without preparation fractures the mind. Knowledge without formation becomes poison. This is not an abstract principle. It is a lived reality that repeats itself in every generation.
Consider what happens today. A person with no preparation, no guidance, no community of support encounters the deepest truths of human existence through a screen, through a video, through a book purchased at random, through an algorithm that delivers the most provocative content, regardless of whether the viewer is ready to receive it. There are no gates. There are no stages. There is no elder to say, "You are not ready yet," but you will be. There is only the raw encounter between an unprepared psyche and a truth that has the power to shatter it. The Pythagorean school required 5 years of silence before a student could speak in the presence of the master. 5 years. Not because speech was forbidden, but because the Pythagoreans understood that the act of listening, of absorbing, of allowing truth to settle into the body rather than racing through the mind, was itself the foundation upon which everything else would be built. Without that foundation, knowledge becomes accumulation. It fills the mind but does not transform the being. It creates the illusion of wisdom while leaving the soul exactly where it was. This is the crisis of our time. Not that knowledge is unavailable. Knowledge has never been more available. The crisis is that the containers have been removed. The gates have been torn down. The initiation process has been abandoned. And millions of seekers are walking directly into encounters with truth that they have no internal structure to hold. The ancient masters would not be surprised by what is happening. They would recognize it immediately. They would see the inflation, the nihilism, the dissociation, and they would say, "This is what happens when you remove the gates, not the knowledge that causes the damage. It is the absence of preparation." And they would say one more thing, that the gates can be rebuilt, not externally, the way the mystery schools once built them, but internally, within the architecture of your own soul, through shadow work, through patience, through the slow, deliberate process of growing your capacity to match your vision. That is the initiation that no one can give you, the one you must give yourself.
If you have stayed with this video until now, there is a reason. And the reason is probably not intellectual curiosity. The reason is that something in what you have heard describes exactly where you are. You went looking for truth. You found it. And instead of feeling free, you feel fractured. Instead of feeling awake, you feel exhausted. Instead of feeling connected to something larger, you feel disconnected from everything, including yourself. You may have spent months, perhaps years, consuming knowledge that was supposed to liberate you. Esoteric texts, hidden history, symbolic systems, mystical frameworks, philosophical traditions that promised to reveal the architecture behind reality. And they did. They revealed exactly what they promised. But no one told you what would happen next. No one told you that seeing the truth and being able to carry the truth are two entirely different capacities. No one told you that the mind can awaken in an instant, but the soul takes years to catch up. No one told you that there is a phase of the journey where awakening does not feel like light entering your life. It feels like the ground disappearing beneath your feet. If that is where you are right now, I need you to understand something clearly. Nothing is wrong with you.
are not broken. You are not lost. You are not too far gone. You are simply in the gap between the awakening of sight and the awakening of strength. The gap that every tradition described, that every mystic passed through, that every philosopher who ever looked into the abyss had to cross before they could speak about what they found on the other side. The ancient Egyptians called the stage the duat, the underworld journey that the soul must make before it can be reborn. The alchemists called it the nigredo, the blackening, the necessary dissolution that precedes the creation of gold. The Christian mystics called it the dark night of the soul. Every tradition used a different name, but they were all describing the same experience. The moment when everything you thought you knew collapses, and the new understanding has not yet taken its place. This is not the end of your journey. This is the middle, and the middle is supposed to be dark. It is supposed to feel like death, because something is dying. The old version of you, the one who lived inside inherited meaning and borrowed belief. That version cannot survive what you have seen, and it should not. But what rises in its place is not built from knowledge. It is built from everything that knowledge broke open, from your wounds, from your disillusionment, from the raw, uncomfortable truth about who you are, beneath every concept and framework and mystical system you have ever studied. The real work of awakening is not learning more. It is becoming someone who can hold what you have already learned. Someone whose compassion has caught up to their perception, whose humility has caught up to their insight, whose capacity to love the imperfect, messy, contradictory reality of human life has caught up to their ability to see through it. That is the difference between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge shows you what is hidden. Wisdom teaches you how to live with what you have found. And that wisdom does not come from another book, another lecture, another teacher, another video. It comes from the slow, patient, often painful process of turning everything you have seen inward and asking the only question that has ever mattered. Now that I know what I know, who will I choose to become? The answer to that question is not found in the ancient texts. It is found in the life you build after you have read them, in the relationships you return to, in the ordinary mornings you choose to be present for, in the quiet, unglamorous work of becoming a human being who can carry light and shadow in the same hands without being destroyed by either. That is the alchemy. That is the gold. And that is what the ancients were trying to protect when they placed gates between the seeker and the truth. Not the knowledge. You.